US and European equity markets both moved higher overnight. Investors are really starting to feel much more confident that the US economy is starting to find its feet. Later on this week, we will get US retail sales data, and it is anticipated that this will be fairly strong. This again reiterates the idea that the US economy is starting to find some traction. Over the past 6 months, we have seen strong demand for the New Zealand and Australian dollars when positive movements have been coming out of US equity markets. However, over recent weeks, we have seen strong demand for the US dollar, and this is on the basis that the US economy is faring much better than it was previously thought. However, a lot of the measures that have been put in place in the US have been short-term stimulatory measures, so it will be interesting to see if these are sustainable on a longer-term basis. With more interest in the US dollar overnight, the New Zealand dollar did trade down just slightly. It is trading at 70.7 against the US dollar on Tuesday morning. New Zealand residential housing prices have been ramping up fairly quickly over the past few months. One of the main reasons for these price increases has been very strong migration coming here to New Zealand. This has been on the basis that New Zealand's economic outlook looks a little bit better relative to other major developed countries. Again, yesterday, migration figures show that a strong influx of people have come to New Zealand in November. This has been positive for housing prices, but also positive for retail demand. This is good news for our economy. The mutton trade is doing fairly well at this present time, and this is one indication that consumers are really starting to trade down to lower price cuts of meat. Over the past week, mutton schedule prices have been flat, while lamb schedule prices have eased off just slightly. There is some talk coming out of our major markets that consumers are trading back to lower price cuts of meat, and this is no wonder given that their economies are facing some problems at this present time. Supply is tight at this present time, and this was reinforced by numbers coming out of Australia last week that showed that lamb numbers will be down by 7% this current season. This does provide some positives for the lamb industry, but like beef, I do suspect that we will see further downwards pressure on lamb schedule prices for this current season.